I am Madison Sherrill, and I'm here for the Diamond Niner Gals podcast. And I am ready to talk all things Charlotte softball. I am here today with Anna Devereaux.
What's up, Niners?
And if you like what we're doing here, feel free to follow along on Instagram and Twitter, X, and listen on Spotify and YouTube. And then, as always, we have producer Brad.
Hey.
And then two special guests. One's an old one. She's been here before. But we have Jenna and we have Kari with here today.
Hey, everyone.
How exciting.
Very
exciting. This is so exciting.
Yes.
Jenna, you're not a rookie to this, so you should be comfortable and you should be able to talk our ears off this entire time. And then Kari, we'll just throw you right in.
Yay, that sounds fun.
Kari, we've heard way too much about you for this not to be so much fun. So no pressure, but we do have very high expectations.
Oh, no. I'm a little worried now.
We were texting before, and I was like, this is awesome. I haven't gotten to, chit chat with you or talk to you. I did bombard Jenna the other day in the parking lot. So it's nice to finally bombard you and we can ask you all the questions.
Yes. I'm very excited.
You saw Jenna in the wild?
Oh yeah, in the wild. Well, not in the wild. It was after a game, but I was lingering around and she came up. She showed me some dance moves, gave me a lesson.
Oh, that's right. I did. Oh, yeah. I remember being like, ugh, who let me do that? Because I saw a video of myself doing it, and I was like, oh, gosh.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's the bus. It's the bus video.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I can't believe they posted that. That was supposed to stay in the archives.
Never.
You'll enjoy it later on. You'll be like, when you're done playing, you'll be like, I was so funny. Oh, my gosh. In the moment, you're like, you put that on the internet?
Jenna, straight up, they put a video of me, insider joke. I used to have this thing about minions, like Despicable Me minions, whenever I played, and I convinced everyone that I could speak minion. And that was published to the web for all to see on the Instagram.
I love that.
So those are some things where, in the moment, you're like, oh, the world's crashing down. Someone's going to put me in some kind of mental asylum for this. And then you look back and you're like, wait, honestly, kind of funny. I wish I was still that funny.
Yeah. That and then after we swept Memphis, our social media girl, Madeline, oh my God. Nuts. It would start out as a joke on the bus. Okay.
Before the game, before we
even left the hotel, we're all sitting on the bus. And sometimes some of the girls do game day hair on the bus. And Lillian was getting her hair done, and it was a joke like, oh, do a high ponytail. You won't. And she did, and it was it looked like long bangs. The ponytail was split. And we took pictures because it was hilarious and sent it in the group me. And Madeline was like, one screenshot, and I will post this on our social media. And that's exactly what happened. But she did not stop there. Unfortunately, I was a victim.
I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
What's worse is that video is supposed to be yes.
Mm-hmm. I've showed this on the podcast.
I think that's now the second time Madison has showed that on here.
I love it. I love the social media girl. She is awesome. When she started in the fall, I was like, wow, she can take such great pictures. And now, one, you guys get the best photos ever. Not saying I'm jealous, but I'm jealous. And then next thing I know,
so that's supposed to be the funny story on that one. It's supposed to be your Disney knees, the Camp Rock version of Demi Lovato. But you kind of need a Camp Rock song to do it too. And me and Lillian, of course, she didn't get Lillian in it. It was just me. But it was to a really fast rap song, so it didn't look good, but it was funny nonetheless. And
modern day Kid Rock or Camp Rock.
Yeah, all the special effects on it just make it that much funnier. So I was like, all right, we're good with that. It's fun.
You're like, no more of that, please.
It's great though.
I love it.
Well, we enjoy seeing it.
Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, Kari, from everything we've heard, I'm surprised you haven't made more of an appearance on a silly social media post.
I'm glad I haven't.
She's escaped.
I have.
We'll fix Madeline right now. Don't worry.
Oh gosh. If anything, just not on senior day, please. It's just gonna be all tears.
You just put the idea in my head.
So this is your last season, Kari?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for myself and all of our viewers too, why don't you give us kind of a little rundown as to where you're from, where you started, everything else, anything that you feel was important for us to know that gives some insight as to how you ended up here.
Okay. Well, I'm actually from Raleigh, North Carolina. So I'm a North Carolina native. But I was getting recruited like 2020, so during COVID and everything. So all of that online video, like streaming your games and everything. And I got interest from Providence College, and that's where I ended up spending my freshman year. And I would just say it wasn't like the best fit for me. So I entered the portal after my freshman year and got picked up by Radford University in Virginia, like right outside of Blacksburg. That's how I always explain it because nobody knows where Radford's at. But I spent 2 years there. I enjoyed it. It was good. But I wanted something with like more of a challenge and with the winning mentality. And that's what Charlotte gave and brought to the table. So I decided this is where I wanted to spend my senior year. So yeah, that's kind of a quick rundown. But yes.
That's awesome.
Where's Providence?
Rhode Island.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so very far, very far.
Wow. Did you
That's a
originally?
tough place to be unhappy freshman year, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a cold, far place.
Yes, there's a photo of me. I think it was in January when we got back from winter break. I'm standing in snow up to my knees. And so I'm 6'1". So you can imagine how much snow that really is. And there's a photo of like one of my managers or like one of my friends up like maybe 4 stories or whatever, taking a photo of me from the ground floor. And there's just snow everywhere and like up to my knees. And it was an experience, to say the least.
Oh my gosh.
Did you, when you were getting recruited, I know it was like during COVID and like all that stuff, did you ever envision going far? Like, was that the goal?
I'm totally okay to like go far and like do whatever. After I graduate, I do plan to go overseas and hopefully play some softball. So being far is like not an issue necessarily. But it definitely was an issue with my experience, if that makes sense.
Totally.
Yes.
No, I get that. I think too, like I've talked about it on here before, but even going far doesn't necessarily mean that you want to, throw away your family time or the people that you know back home and everything else. But I do think that there's an aspect to it of, you pack up your life at 18 years old, you move however many hours away from home. And to get there and not necessarily have an outlet in your family or in existing friends or whatever else it is, I mean, that just puts you in a tough position. And I feel like that's kind of, did that kind of hit you through the fall or was it through the season or kind of when was your turning point?
I would say it definitely kind of hit in the fall.
Okay.
And it wasn't necessarily like homesickness or anything like that. It was just dynamics with like roommates and my team, to be honest. And so it was something that I was kind of thinking about. And I think after like, I don't even know how much I should be sharing, but
It's a safe place.
so it was maybe like a week before our season started. A week before we actually came down here to play because it was too cold up there, one of our seniors got in trouble. So she was suspended for maybe like the first 2 weeks or something. So then here I am, freshman, I get thrown at first base right away. And I end up doing like somewhat decent, right? And then the senior comes back, she takes her position back, and then it gets to a point where she gets pulled, whatever. And then I was like, this isn't how I want to play. This isn't like right for me. It just didn't really make much sense with everything that was happening. And middle of the season, I knew I was like, this is not where I need to spend my next 3-4 years. And I'm not usually someone that's like, like in the middle of the season, I'm done. But it was the middle of the season and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like mental health was not okay. So that's kind of like when I knew 100% that I was done, middle of the season, spring.
Yeah, you get to know a lot about your team, and you get to know about the dynamics when you start a season, for sure. And like, you're just like, okay, I'm getting the vibe here that, you know, this isn't, I mean, I didn't have that feeling because I love Charlotte, but I know a lot of teammates who are like, oh, this is not what I signed up for here. And you kind of go, and then being, I don't know, not in a place, maybe like not to dog Rhode Island or anything. But maybe not a place you love. And then also, I mean, it is a great opportunity though that you got to get some experience as a freshman and get to play some games. But like you said, you got to learn what you don't like and you moved on to something better and then now you're here. So it's a good learning opportunity.
Where I'm meant to be, so.
Exactly.
I think too, I want to hear from both of you in this sense of, you know, obviously between the two of you have seen what, I guess, like 5 different schools, maybe, 6, including this one. But I think it's so cool that now you guys are both here for, Jenna, this your last season? You've got one more?
I have one. I redshirted last year, so I have this one and then another one on top. Yep.
Okay, well then,
Awesome.
regardless, you know, you guys are upperclassmen. You guys have seen it all. It feels like. How does your experience this year? And I know Jenna, we've talked about this a little bit, but just from the two of you having come in and known what your past has been like, how has this experience this year kind of differed from everything else that you've seen?
I think this year especially, it's really translated in the sense that I have been through a lot. I've been through a lot of different kind of unique experiences from being in the SEC, being in the Big 12, and, you know, being in the American now. Been through injuries, been through the transfer portal, been through the highs of highs, lows of lows. So I feel like I kind of used that and use my experience to talk to the younger kids who maybe are homesick or maybe are going through injury. We had, you know, a girl go through that in the fall, right kind of as I was recovering as well. So I was able to kind of be just an ear for her to talk to, and as well, just kind of the experiences that I've been through. I love helping people. I love helping the freshmen. I wish somebody, you know, would have done that for me my freshman year. So I just kind of want to be an outlet for those kids with my experience and, you know, just be an ear for them to listen to and maybe give some good advice too.
For me, I think the strength of schedule this year with Charlotte has been something I haven't done before, like going to Clearwater last year before that. It's always been something I was like, I want to go there. I want to play with those top teams. So that was definitely a big like point, I guess, with Charlotte and everything. And just being able to play at that level with those girls, it's just something special. And, you know, it's not something that everyone gets to experience. So just kind of taking everything in and just trying to, you know, be that leader in a way, whether it's speaking or by action or whatever, you know, just how I can. So
that's awesome. It seems like you both have, obviously everyone has a different experience and everyone gets to the same place. And it's nice to hear from everyone that it's a younger team and experience, but it's nice to hear from people like you guys where you're like, I have experience just way different, but I want to share it with everyone. And whether it's being an ear, like Jenna, like you said, and being able to listen and be like, oh yeah, I totally understand. I went through that. And it's nice for younger kids to see that and be like, oh my God, oh, she made it through. I'll be fine.
Yep, for sure.
And then Carl, like you're saying, you seem like you're like, this is an awesome opportunity. I've wanted this for my entire life. And I think that some people, I don't know if this is anyone, but some people can get caught in like as a freshman, if you're always doing that, you're like, oh, this is what it is. Like, duh. Like I know as a freshman, I was like that. I came in and I was like, oh, this is what we do. We play at Florida, like whatever. And then like older girls like Anna or even like we had a transfer and Nikki, and she like helped me. She was like, no, you don't understand. Like, this is my experience. So it's nice to have people with other experiences to like share the wealth of knowledge. It gives the team a broader perspective.
I think that's what's big kind of about like with our team is we have so many people from so many different aspects and different softball experiences. So being able to share and kind of play with each other with those different experiences kind of just makes our team who we are. So
That's nice.
Kari, was Charlotte always kind of on your radar, or how did you get connected with the current staff? Because I feel like every story we've heard, everybody has gotten here in some one-off roundabout way, you know.
Well, it's actually kind of funny. I don't know how long ago this was. Maybe, well, this was when I was still pitching. So a while ago, maybe like my freshman year, me and my dad would drive down here for like the nighttime pitching and hitting clinics that they would do. I think it was during like the winter. It was like once or twice a week for a couple weeks or whatever. So I have like pictures of being down here in Charlotte, maybe like when I was a freshman or something. So I literally came up across a picture from 2018, I think it was, where I was like, oh, just down in Charlotte. I was like, that's crazy, and just full circle moment. But it was, I think, end of summer. It was the end of summer because I committed like the same day of my birthday or something like that. But it was last minute, I would say. But it was perfect in the sense of how it worked out with my academics and everything. Because this is my last year. I wanted to be able to still graduate kind of on time in a sense. And so just being able to get on campus when I did and everything just kind of worked out. And I loved what the coaches brought to the table and everything. So
that's a huge part that people don't talk about is the academics of transferring. Like, Jenna, do you have a degree or do you not? Or are you still trying to get one?
I'll graduate this summer.
Right.
So and back to Kari's point, academics was one of the biggest reasons why I came to Charlotte, of course, softball, but I was scheduled at my previous school at Texas Tech. I was going to graduate a whole year later because of things not transferring over from my previous school and things of that nature. And then I remember meeting with our academic advisor here, Adam, and I sat down with him and we were talking about, he asked for all my transcripts, syllabi, like things like that. And he goes, okay, so like you'll graduate pretty much on time. I was like, what?
yeah,
I'm transferring again. Like he goes, well, things that didn't transfer over now transfer over here. I was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. Like I don't have to be, in school a whole extra year. Yeah, I can go somewhere else and, so this upcoming year, this fall and spring, I'll be working on not a master's degree, but a certificate, which is, a higher knowledge degree than, undergrad, where I'd be still completing my undergrad somewhere else. So that's huge.
Oh, yeah. What are both your guys' majors?
I'm in psychology, and then I'll do my certificate in early childhood and mental health. And then hopefully I'll but I'll go somewhere else for a master's. I'll hopefully be a GA somewhere. Let me preface that. Be a GA somewhere and and do mental health and counseling as a master's program.
I am elementary education. So I am in the classroom once a week this semester. And then next semester, so I'm only graduating a semester late, which is what I was supposed to do at Radford. So it's the same thing essentially. And then in the fall, I'm going to be student teaching. So I'll be in the classroom full time. And then I'll graduate.
That's awesome.
Those are cool.
Are you going to be doing that at a Charlotte elementary school or?
Great question.
Okay.
I haven't thought that far ahead just because
I
don't plan to teach as soon as I graduate. I'm either going to take a semester or maybe go overseas right away. We'll see kind of how that all pans out. And then from there, I might stay in Europe. I don't really know. And teach English over there, which would be fun.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
But yeah, that's like something that I'm like, that's like a huge bucket list kind of opportunity. So that might end up happening, or I might move out West Coast. So we'll see.
Recommend. That's where I'm from. I recommend, but I also recommend Europe. Never been, but I've heard great things.
Yes. I've gone to Italy, but that's about it.
Go to Ireland. That's like my favorite place ever.
I know a girl. She plays in a softball league over there, and she just travels around Europe and plays softball.
Yeah, my friend did that.
Yeah, I'll have to get you in contact with her. Maybe you
I
guys
want to do that.
Yeah, I'll contact her for you. I'll send you her stuff.
Sounds great.
Because that'd be really cool. Have you always wanted to go? Like, have you always been like a Europe, like overseas, like leave the country person?
Kind of, sort of, not really. Kids on like growing up on YouTube, people would watch like all these like vloggers and like lifestyle people. I would watch people like rate these different places that they'd go and like their like travel experiences and everything. And I'm like, that is so fun. I want to do that. But it wasn't necessarily like, I never saw softball as my route to do that. And now that I have found that, I'm like, wait, I might actually be able to do this. So that's really exciting and something that I'm like kind of looking forward to. So hopefully it happens.
I hope so too.
I just love hearing both of you talk about how, you know, this is a little unconventional for the pod, but this being all about softball, but about how like one of the biggest drawing factors of going to Charlotte was for academic reasons. Anybody who knows me in Madison can attest that academics was like the biggest contender of my entire life, and in a way still is. And I just think I'm a huge advocate for there's life after softball. There's, you know, this isn't all you have. This isn't all you are. But I think it's so fun. Like, and obviously, Kari, to your same point, it's like you can have both. You can do both, you know, and I think it's just kind of, and I know, Jenna, we had talked about, you know, finding a place that you love to go to school and then also play softball, right? And I think that's just it. And that goes on to, you know, the point Madison and I say all the time of just, I think Charlotte has everything. And I think it is one of the greatest universities because you really can have it all. You know, you can study whatever the heck you want to study and be a dang good softball player. And you're setting yourself up so well whenever you walk out of here. And I feel like, you know, I don't have an experience anywhere else, but I know stories and I know other people who have, and you don't get that everywhere else. You know, you don't get that same opportunity everywhere else. So I just love that you guys are girl boss, and that makes me happy. Girl boss to girl boss, that makes me happy.
I am very passionate about what you just said, Anna, and I didn't transfer and like I stayed at Charlotte, but I'm a little biased in a sense of like, I don't know, I feel like when everyone did transfer, they're like, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. And I loved being here already and being like, yes, please, we're happy here. Like, you can have it all. Like, you can go to Uptown and do all this stuff, and you can get an engineering degree and still play softball, which I know programs won't let you do. Like, they don't care if you graduate on time. They don't care if you have a social life. Like, and I just think it's awesome, like talking to Courtney and all that stuff, that she does have value in those other things, because softball does end eventually for everybody. And it's nice that you guys are like, oh yeah, here's my plan. I'm going to go to Europe. I'm going to get a master's, like, and I'm really good at softball.
Added bonus.
No, we're really lucky with, especially this coaching staff. I've been with previous coaching staffs where it hasn't been like that. And especially like, I know I'm lucky where my class schedule doesn't interfere with, you know, practice and everything. I know Kari, on the other hand, is, you know, getting her degree and is still able to continue to play softball, and the coaches allow her to. And, you know, Kari, if you want to like say about your schedule, but she gets her work done when she can with the coaches. And then on top of that is a very key role in our lineup. So it's just really cool to see. You know, she's there for the right reason. She's doing her schoolwork. She's bowling when she can. And then she's helping on the field as well. Yeah.
My class schedule is crazy. I woke up 12 hours ago. So I woke up at 6:30 this morning. This is our off day. And I was in the classroom from like 7:30 to 3:30 today. Then I had a Zoom call today for the fall. But Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have class from 8:30 to 12:45. So I end up missing lift, which is 10 o'clock, I think. And then I have class from like 2:30 to 5 o'clock. So between 12:45 and like 1:30, I try to get in a little bit of softball with whoever I can. And then depending on what day it is, what time it is, I'll try and go afterwards and get work in with one of our managers. And then usually we'll have that game on Tuesday or Wednesday. If it's on Tuesday, I end up missing class. It is what it is. What can you do? And then travel Thursday for a weekend series and stuff like that. So it's a lot of work, but I'm happy doing it. And like Jenna said, I like to help the team as much as I can. So I'll get the work in where I can.
Yeah. And I've never been, like I said, a part of the coaching staff that allows someone to, you know, still continue their degree and miss a lot. I mean, there's times that this is not obviously a knock on Kari, but we don't see Kari because she's doing her school stuff. And, you know, but she's still able to keep her priorities in line with school and softball and continue to get the work in that she needs. But it's just a testament to our coaching staff that a lot of places don't allow that. You know, it's softball first, then school. When here it's like, no, you can still go to school and school is number one priority. And then, hey, like we're going to fit everything in where we can, as long as you're willing to work. And she is. So
Kari, I'm gonna be honest with you. My heart rate started pumping, and then I got up, and then from 12:30 to 1:30, I went down there, and I had a go-go squeeze probably for lunch.
Literally, yeah.
And then I went to class. I had to walk up that hill, and then I did that, and then at 6 p.m. I went down to the facility and I hit off the machine, and I just started panicking a little bit.
Yeah.
And not to mention that first part of her day is literally with children. Are you student teaching right now?
No. So luckily that's only on Mondays that I was doing that. And today was actually my last day. So that's exciting. But I'm only doing that on Mondays. But yeah, from 7:30 to 3.
But it's
first graders.
I was just gonna say
for our off day. And
that is our off day. That is our off day.
I'm plotting in bed till the last minute before I have to go to class on a Monday. Especially the travel day we just had. And then Kari's up at the crack of dawn, you know, going to hang out with
first graders.
And that's kids, but I don't think I could do that early.
Thank you, Jenna, for pointing that out, because that was the thing that stuck in my mind. Is I was like, her off day. I need everyone to realize this right now.
Yeah, that's off day. That's the first. That's like if I took any. That's all I heard was off day. 6:30 off day.
Yeah.
Just
gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Kari, I have one random question, and Anna knows what I'm about to say.
Gosh.
Okay.
I do.
I got to meet your dog in the stands.
Yes.
That's right there. That's what I need.
Love him.
Can you talk about him for a second? Can you tell everyone about him? Because he was perfect.
Dex, his name is Dex. I call him Dexter. But his name is Dex. I just call him Dexter for long, as I like to say. We got him. He just turned 2, I think, February 22nd. He is a mix between a Portuguese water dog and a poodle. He has the shortest legs and the longest body. But he is such a sweetheart. He's a little crazy at home. So if you ever see him in the stands or anything, just know that's not what he's like at home. And one of my favorite things about him is his little tongue. It just sits out. It literally sits just like this. And I don't know why. I guess his tongue is just too long to sit in his mouth. But he is so sweet and so cuddly. I can pull up a picture. But I also have another dog. I have 2 dogs. And then I have Otis, who is a Springer Spaniel Poodle. Here we go. This is a picture of them. This is Dex, and then that's Otis. And Otis is a Springer Spaniel Poodle. I think he's 7, 8, I think. But those are my 2 doggies, and I love them very much.
Thank you for telling everyone about that.
Do either of them live with you at school?
No, I wish. No.
Yeah, I got to meet Dex in the stands.
We love him. He's so sweet.
He sat behind me a little bit, and the tongue thing, you're right. It was just like this.
It just sits there. Yep.
I turned around the corner, and he was right there, and I went, oh, his little tongue.
It just sits there. Seriously. He'll go to sleep. It'll just stick out, and it'll be so dry that I'm I shove it back into his mouth because I'm dude, it's gonna fall off or something.
Well, thank you, Kari. I know that had nothing to do with softball, but I did have to talk to you about it. I told Anna, I said, hey, I have to ask her about our dog. Just let me do it really quick, please.
Yes, of course.
In the wise words of Nick, this is stuff that you can't find in the box score. So these are acceptable questions to ask. You know.
Exactly. Well,
Anna, do you have a dog? Do you have any pets?
Yes, I have. Not with me. I wish. At home, we have 3 labs. So they're all different colors. They're the most precious things in the world. We have a black lab. He's like 13 or 14. His name's Buster. And then we have a silver lab. She's got to be like 6 or 7 by now. And then yellow lab. She is got her in COVID, so she's almost 5. Yep. So I got 3 labs at home. The most precious things in the world.
Madison, lab lover to lab lover.
I have a black lab.
Yes, I love it. He is like my baby. He's actually, so in my family, my little brother, when we got Buster, so my little brother has autism. He's 15, and when he was first diagnosed, he was 2, so which is like the earliest you can diagnose. And we got Buster originally supposed to be as like a service animal. And so we started the training for him. It was the cutest thing in the world. But as my younger brother grew up, he didn't really need as much of like, all the hands-on things that they were training him for. So he just kind of became his little companion dog. Like anytime he went to sleep, he's with him. Anytime he was upset, as he was kind of getting, growing up, he would always Buster would always jump on him and kind of be kind of like a weighted blanket almost, calm him down. He's just the best. So that one's got a special place in my heart because he knows his role, and it's just been really fun to watch them grow up together. So that one especially has got a special place in my heart.
So cute.
Yeah, I'll start crying.
They're precious.
Literally.
I don't know how to move on from that.
Nice job, Jenna.
You just have a respect for dog people. Somebody who likes dogs, you're like, oh, we're on the same wavelength. That's like the first telltale.
Oh, yeah.
It is. Well, cool. Well, a little reflection, I guess. Sure, we'll talk a little bit about softball.
Sure.
But feel free to get distracted at any point. But last week we had Elon. Then we played 3 games against Wichita this past weekend. I personally would like to start with Elon because that one always feels good. Everyone knows I've got a personal vendetta against them. So, how was that? Did you guys kind of get prepped in any certain way, or was this just look, this is a must-win game for us. Let's go out guns blazing.
Yeah, for us, we obviously take every game as seriously as we would conference, especially midweeks, because those could be a make or break difference between, us being 500 and getting over that hump of 500. And Elon was no different. They had some really big wins and they had some not great losses. So we knew that we needed to go in and take care of business. The weather was kind of funky. We didn't really know that we were going to play. I have a really close friend on the team that's their ace, and she was they were just sitting there waiting for our coaches to, decide whether to play or not, which we didn't know. But as far as I know of, they didn't really want to play us for that reason. And so we kind of knew that we had to take it to them and send them home with an L. And we did that. But yeah, it was fun.
Send them packing. Send them going.
Always.
I don't know who that first baseman is, but I think about her every once in a while. For the 2 of you that don't know, I've told this story already. My 5th year, my super senior year, it was our second to last fall game. We played at Elon. Vibes were good. All was well. Don't know how much you guys know about me as a softball player, but I led off that game, and I'm not a leadoff batter. But I was doing some fun stuff that fall. It was working, so we just decided to give it a go. 3rd pitch of the game, I ended up rolling over to 3rd, ran through 1st, had a collision with the first baseman, and broke my leg. Literally broke my leg.
Let me speak on this for a second. So Anna doesn't have to elaborate. When she says break, she doesn't just mean she broke her leg. No, what happened was this is the bone. Okay. This is the bone. Imagine this part lodging away from the bone. She had a piece of bone floating in her leg. Her femur came down so hard, it broke this one. Sorry, I don't mean to get vulgar on this podcast.
Well, I was gonna say we should put some kind of like watch advisory on here for those who might get a little queasy.
So nothing against Elon, but we love to see them lose.
We love seeing them lose.
That's
We
fair.
do.
That's like some trauma right there.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I hear the name, I'd be like, "Ugh."
That's what I'm trying to instill in you guys.
Yeah,
I want
no,
you
that's
guys to
gonna
think
happen.
I
of
will never forget that.
Next year, Jenna's
Okay.
going to play
It'll be
against
more personal next year.
Yeah.
That,
Thanks, Jenna. Appreciate you.
of course.
Well, good win against Elon. Kind of going into the weekend. Kind of had some gross weather. Played a doubleheader. Can one of you kind of walk us through the first game? I know Wichita struck first. Can you kind of talk through the first game? Thought process, team vibes, whatever you feel was most important.
You got it, Jenna.
Okay. So obviously first of all, I just feel like every series, I know we have more series where we've played double headers than we've played a normal weekend, Friday, Saturday. So this weekend was no different, which at this point we're kind of used to playing a double header, and then, it is what it is. Obviously going into the first game and starting, the way that we did, it's not ideal. Of course, giving up 3 in the first inning is not ideal, but I think what was something good was that we bounced back. It took a little bit, I think. Trying to remember the first game, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that's why I give it to you.
I'm like, okay, which game was that? The first day.
It was 7-3, right?
I think it was 7-3, so maybe it wasn't the first game that we bounced back. But
The second game. It was the second game because they scored 3 in the first inning of the second
they
game.
scored 2.
And then we scored in the top of the second.
Well, all in all, the first game, I just wasn't our best. Our normal kind of contributors didn't really step up to the plate, with me included. And it wasn't a terrible game, just wasn't clean on all sides of the ball, which happens. They're a great hitting team, as we saw. Even some of the balls that they hit, home runs that they hit, we would come back in circle and be like, man, hit her spot, it's not a bad pitch. It would be different if they were throwing them down the middle, but they weren't. So that was the frustrating thing. Not frustrating, but it's like, dang, she just really got to that ball. Happens though, they just outplayed us, outscored us. They made some great plays when they needed to. But the second game, I loved that we kind of got punched in the mouth first and came right back. And then we continued to do that the whole game. They punched us, we punched right back and more, and then more. And then we ran away with it at the end, had a little bit of trouble at the end, but still had a big enough lead where it didn't even matter. And we still had all the confidence in the world in our pitchers, and able to kind of get punched in the mouth in the 7th and then shut the door. So, and that was, really important, especially with the momentum going into Saturday.
Coach Courtney said in the circle after our second game, talking about, I think it was the home run that was given up, and then we started clear, bases clear, like it was a new inning. And I was like 3 up, 3 down from right there. So being able to close the door, like she said, that was something, that's really important with everything. So
yeah, and it's honestly, I don't know how pitchers do it. And granted, I think having a pitcher mindset is the most challenging thing in the world, because it's so easy to just let everything, I guess, I don't know. In my mind, I'm like, man, sometimes I don't know how they do it, because I know, in some of the beginnings of the year, or in the beginning of the year, we've had some leads that we've blown, and it wasn't the pitcher's fault, but those things kind of stick into the back of your mind. And so you go, oh my gosh, it's starting to, but it was awesome in the sense that Aubrey was like, all right, hey, we're good. Maybe it took Courtney coming out and talking to her, me talking to her, and just be like, find a little dog in you. Let's go shut him down, shut the door on him. You're good. I got all the confidence in the world in you. Let's go finish this thing. And she did exactly that. But it was obviously her mindset. She completely forgot about what had just happened, said, we're cruising with a 2 lead here still. I'm going to go shut the door. And that's exactly what she did.
I think to add to that too, is when you're talking about how you don't know pitchers, how they do it, they get the ball right back as soon as they give up a home run like that. Us fielders, hitters, we have 1 ground ball, 1 at bat. we're not gonna get up again until 8 batters later. Who knows if we're gonna get the next ball? So being able to, you know, like she said, get back to it, literally next pitch. So
Yeah. All I can say is yeah, because I, as a catcher, like it was never really on me. Like obviously it's kind of on me, but like it's not. I'm not the one pitching it. I'm not the one who gave up the home run. Like it's not I didn't do that. But like you're saying, Jenna, like I think that's an underrated like saying of like she did hit her spot.
Yeah.
They just hit the ball.
Right.
And I think that that's a reason. Some people are like, oh, well, no. I'm like, no, if you called an outside pitch and it was on the corner of the plate where we wanted it, and the girl is a good hitter, like Wichita State is historically a great hitting team. They have been for a long time, and they'll make you pay. And it's like you said, I was most impressed with the fact, like you said, get punched in the face and then punching right back. And obviously the first game didn't go as well, but the fact that you can play the first game, lose, then get punched in the face in the first inning, and then be like, okay, we're done. Like, we're done with this. We're just going to, like, run away with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to call out something a little bit crazy. RBI queen.
Ooh.
Game 2.
Crazy.
Of a legend.
I think my heart dropped in that moment when I hit that ball, because I know you guys couldn't see it, or at least I don't think you could see it from the live feed. The ball was 100% foul. I mean, it was, but why it was fair was because she tipped it. Okay, so hard line drive, first baseman barely tipped it. Granted, I'm not really paying attention. I'm like still kind of watching the ball, or like focusing on finishing my swing and running out of the box. So I didn't really see it. And I did hit it hard, so it was like pretty quick. But everyone was like, oh no, like you could hear it. Like I think I was like, Kari, like, did you,
or
like,
no, in the whole, yeah, you can hear it. Everybody can hear it.
Kari and Tegan and Riley Gilmore, they were like, yeah, no, like she tipped it. But nobody else in the stands thought it. So I'm immediately running the bases. I'm like, oh my God, they're immediately going to call me back. The thing was so foul. And as soon as the coach came out like this, I was like, Courtney, I'm cooked. I was like, they're going to make me go back in there with like an 0-2 count. And
Yeah.
I was like, and if, you know, obviously I was thinking about it. I was like, I think that was the amount to like break the record. So I was like, that would really suck if I have to go back at the 0-2 count right now. So
You still would have done it. I had faith in you.
Yeah, I mean, Kari, great. I was just gonna say, I was like, you would have got there. But
Yeah.
what a fun story. I love that you were like, it was foul.
oh, it was 100% foul. But I guess, I mean,
No, she tipped it like
because the third baseman, we were talking, and when the umpire came back, they go, do you have like, you could see it? And they're like, yeah, like she touched it. I was like, thank you. You know, It worked out.
I was surprised they reviewed it. I was honestly so surprised that they reviewed it, because we're first base, we're on the third base dugout, and I'm standing in the dugout, and I could hear the ball hit her glove. And I'm like, Wichita is right there. How do they not hear this? And I'm like, maybe they did. Maybe they're just hoping, like,
They're just stirring up drama.
but you could 100% hear it. And so I was like, okay.
They didn't want Jenna to have the record. They're like, not today, sorry.
Not on our field.
Not here. Well,
That's funny.
I do want to take a little pause from the weekend, and I kind of want to get a little sentimental about you, Jenna. Well, not really sentimental, but like you said, you've been through like a long journey, and I get a little sentimental. We're not that close, but I get a little sentimental about your success in a sense of like how awesome it is that you've gone through this long journey, gone to a whole bunch of schools, and now that you found, like, I like to say you found your place. I don't know if you feel that way.
Oh, for sure.
And then your first year you break a record, and our dear friend Bouvenoy says records are meant to be broken.
Mm-hmm.
So can you kind of talk about your success a little bit? I don't know if you like talking about yourself, but I'm going to need you to kind of talk about yourself a little bit right now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm really proud of myself in the sense that I think I could have chosen a path of, you know, feeling, I don't even know how to like describe it, but feeling bad for myself, or feeling embarrassed by the things that I had gone through, or feeling like just embarrassed by how many times I transferred, or like it, because to be honest, like my first 3 years of college softball, I was embarrassed about it. And I kind of would let other people's stories and viewpoints of me that have never met me kind of persuade how I felt about myself or how I felt about my own journey. And Obviously, that's not how it should roll, but that's how it was for my first few years. So obviously, going through this situation of being injured, having new coaches come in to the previous school that I was at, and pretty much being told that this isn't going to be what you thought it was going to be, and I don't really know if there's a spot for you here anymore. Being told that, like, I was like, I cannot go through this again. I do not want to transfer again. Like, it's so embarrassing. And for lack of better words, that's how I felt. And to just get on the phone with Courtney and talk to her for the first time, I think it was like 2 weeks after I had surgery, and just like feeling just so refreshed and being like, you know what, I can still do this. I can find a home. I can get a good education, and I can play softball. And at the end of the day, I know I'm going to have coaches behind me that believe in me. And I know what kind of player I am when I have that support and when I feel comfortable and when people believe in me. I know what kind of player I can be. And so it was a no-brainer, obviously, for me to come here and be a part of, this coaching staff and this team. And obviously, I'm really proud of myself because I think once I had surgery, I kind of flipped a switch and said, you know what, I'm not going to feel sorry for myself anymore. I'm not going to let people's past viewpoints of me affect how I feel about myself, because I'm the only person at the end of the day that knows what I've gone through. But it was kind of nice to just kind of start clean and start fresh and just go out, ball out, and work hard and see where that gets me. I'd be that I expected this to be the outcome this year thus far. But nonetheless, like, I'm just proud of myself in the sense that I didn't let my past or what I used to think of myself affect a new opportunity here.
That was so well said.
That makes me like warm and fuzzy inside. No?
Thank you.
Oh, how awesome.
I know. I'm proud of you too. That's to Madison's same point. I know it just there's something to be said about the family of alumni and just having played in this program, even if it was under somebody else, of just like, this is my dad's favorite thing to say is that Charlotte softball is its own little sorority. And I think so too, because you just, it continues down the line, and it's just special. It's cool. Mm-hmm. That's great. Kari, would you say, kind of along those same lines, this is the last year for you. Do you feel like this is exactly what you expected or wanted out of your last season of college softball?
Yeah, I mean, to Jenna's point too, with like the whole feeling kind of embarrassed with so many transfers and everything, I had that feeling, honestly, coming into the transfer portal for a second time. I was like, this is kind of embarrassing. Like, I wonder what people think, like all that kind of emotion and everything. But I like to think this is where I was meant to be, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so being able to, be with this team in my last year, it's been a lot of fun. And I've gotten to experience like different places. And honestly, I've gotten to experience winning. So that's always a plus.
Totally agree.
It's definitely a plus when you win.
It's a huge piece of it. You're in a much better mood whenever you win. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, talking about winning, we'll go into this weekend, and that we're going to play UAB at home. And Kari, I'll kind of give you the microphone.
Oh, no.
It's senior weekend.
Yes.
How exciting.
Very.
We'll look at it. Have you guys, honestly, a breath of fresh air, no midweek game. Playing midweeks the entire year can get a little bit exhausting. So you have the entire week to prepare until UAB gets here Friday at 6. Have you guys, it's your off day. I was going to say, have you started preparing? But you haven't started preparing yet. But
not yet.
Kari, kind of talk about, it's senior weekend and you're a senior. So are you excited? Kind of talk about it.
I'm very excited. A little, like, not nervous necessarily, but I remember, like, I keep thinking about my high school senior day, and I'm like, how am I going to react? How am I going to, like, am I going to be sad? Am I going to be crying? And I'm like, I certainly hope not. I got a game to play. So, but honestly, I'm just going to treat it like every other game day. We're here to win. I want to be able to do my best that I can in the position that I play, with this team. But it's also going to be, a little bittersweet. Hopefully we're going to be playing softball for a lot longer than obviously this weekend. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, and just hoping for series sweep, series win, all that. But I'm very excited and just getting to spend it with people that I love, like my parents and teammates and all that. So
You'll cry.
oh, I hope we'll save it for after, hopefully.
So much.
Yeah, you're gonna sob.
Oh gosh,
you're gonna
guys, don't talk it into existence.
Oh, I have never seen a senior day where someone didn't like sob. When Anna did it, I literally was like, like it was a lot. I was doing a lot, and you'll have people cry for you. That's really sweet.
Yeah, I'm a simple crier, so if I see anyone cry, I'm right there with them. I'm sure I'll be crying for Kari senior day and as well.
I think whenever that official last game comes, it's going to be a lot worse than the actual senior day, because that's what it was in high school. It was like the second or third round of states, and we lose, and I sit in the parking lot, like on the floor of the asphalt parking lot, bawling my eyes out, and it starts raining. It was just so bad, but like, it is what it is. It happens. And just kind of continuing to think about, I started this when I was like 5 years old. So, but it'll be exciting nonetheless.
You're right. It definitely is the last game. You're a little bit more like, oh, senior game, you're more like sentimental. You're more like, oh, everyone's here to support me. Like my family's here. Like, oh, but the last game, you're like, oh,
this is it.
You're like, oh my God, it's happening.
Yes. No, actually, for real, guys, it's not a joke.
But to that same point, it's like how exciting that you get to take a step back and say, look at everything that I accomplished. I'm just getting started. I just think that's another piece to it. It's just like, what a journey you've had. And like, this isn't even the end of it.
No, exactly.
It's just another milestone. So
yes.
Yep. Overseas. I love it. No, but right on. We've got UAB this weekend, last regular scheduled series for this season, which is so crazy to think that we are already here. But nonetheless, last 3 days for us to pack the Sioux here at home for closing out the 2025 season, maybe. Yeah. But if anybody has anything better to do this weekend, I'd love to hear it, because it probably isn't true. So we hope to see everyone at the Sioux this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Support the Niners on a 3-game sweep against UAB. Kari and Jenna, thank you so much for joining us today. This was so much fun. We are rooting for you. I know everybody else here is, and we're so excited to see where this weekend takes you guys. So that's all the time we've got today. As always, thanks for watching all. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, never TikTok. Thanks, Nick. And we will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for having us.
Oh.
Bye, guys. Go Niners.
Go Niners.